Hey there, you wonderful listeners. I have a question for you. Do you want to make a podcast? Well, Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place and for free. How can you beat that? It's called Spotify for Podcasters. And here is how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, there are Q&A and poll options available, and those are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it has made doing my shows like the Steam Machine Podcast, Yabs Pod, and the JRPG Report much, much easier to do. Like being able to just go on there, record them, upload it, boom, it's done. I don't have to pay for a site service to host or anything like that. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend that you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
This week on the Steam Machine Podcast, who the fuck that is? I don't know that bitch. I don't know him neither. Man, they look familiar though. Man, I must have called Amnesia. Cue the music! Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and yes, those were lyrics from an actual song. With me, as always, are the Destructo Bros. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's the one and only Turtle Bear Man. It's Nate.
Hey, what's up? It's Willie. Have a good evening. I'm gone. Good night.
And that was this week's episode. I hope everybody enjoyed.
Thanks for coming on.
Special shout out to our Patreon donors.
Yeah.
Greg and bigger Greg.
What have you guys been up to this week? Or these past 2 weeks, actually?
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. So, for me, I was say, please. I finally was like playing around on that My Abandonware site. And I saw a game on there that I've been always wanted to play that I just never had a way to, because like the last system I think it came out for was like GameCube and Xbox and PS2 or 3, I guess it would have been. I don't know. I'm bad with console generations. But anyway, it was Sonic Heroes, which had a PC release at that time too, that never got re-supported or picked up again. So it's just kind of been chilling in the nether of PC gaming for a long time, and it's available on My Abandonware. So picked that up and started playing it for free. It's pretty fun.
Hell yeah. And that's one of the 3D games?
Yeah, it's 3D. It's the one that came after Sonic Adventure 2. It was the one where you were playing as teams of characters from Sonic. So you'd be playing as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles combined at the same time, or Shadow, Omega, and Rouge the Bat at the same time. So it's a really interesting concept because you get to switch between them with like using like, well, I set it up to be on the bumper keys on my controller. So it's just really neat how you can switch between the characters to be able to do different things in the levels. And it gives you like branching paths where you can pick one character or the other, and it takes you a different route, which I think is a pretty cool mechanic.
That sounds like Trine, but with Sonic characters. That's awesome.
Ooh, I keep meaning to get to Trine, dude. That's one I really want to get to.
Yeah, in Trine, you have 3 characters that you swap between depending on what you need to do in the levels and stuff. And yeah, that's cool. That sounds just like that.
It does sound a lot. That sounds very similar. That's pretty cool.
So do you always have like a speed character, a flying character, and like a punching through shit character? Or? Yeah,
that's almost what they're called. It's speed, flying, and power. Nice. So like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, speed, flying, power. And then it's Shadow, Rouge, and Omega. Like, I think Team Rose, which is Amy, Cream, and Big the Cat is the power character. And then Team Chaotix, which is, what is SBO? SBO the Chameleon, Charmy Bee, and Vector the Crocodile.
Okay, that's neat. Shit.
I just want to say Speed Flying Power sounds like the name of a Baby Metal song. and I would listen to it because they rock. Oh man, I've just been fucking around in Final Fantasy 11 still. I'm at level 87, pushing my way to 99. And yeah, that's been fun. I got a gear drop that doesn't. It won't make any sense to anybody listening to this except Dave. And I sent Dave a screenshot of it, so so I won't get into what it is because there's a lot of stats on it. But it was a really good piece of gear, and I was just like, hell yeah, I guess I'm gonna level monk. So that's what I've been leveling is monk.
Nice.
Willie, what you been up to, man? Before I get into the fantasy league stuff,
I've just been trying to get a little bit more physical exercise lately, and I've been having some fun with that, doing some jogging and shit like that. Had a 4-mile walk today, just trying to get my legs beneath me. I feel like I've been really getting my sleep schedule regulated a lot better just because I've been exercising more, and that's been good for my general physical health, mental health, and all that. So, that's cool.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's good to hear.
I guess I kind of buried the lead on this one, too. I kind of got a world record in speed running over the weekend.
That's true.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's a meme category for the Blue Marlin, which was basically how fast can you beat Florida? And I got a really, really good time. It's going to be fairly difficult to beat. It's not impossible. It'll probably get beat eventually if people run the category, but I am a world record holder.
How many, Nate, can you tell me how many times did you run this category?
Yeah, it was a very meme category. So I got my world record on my 59th attempt.
Out of
69 attempts.
Nice.
What is a meme category? I don't understand.
So basically it's like a category. It's not like a full real category of a game. So a lot of people consider doing a single character run in Super Mario 2 a meme category because there's no reason to do it. It's not going to make anything special happen. It's just something you can do. So basically in Blue Marlin you do 4 separate tournaments to win. This one, it's basically just do the first tournament as fast as you can, which is actually different than what the strategy would be for doing a full any percent category. So it is a little bit different. The strategy is different, but it's just memey. It's just not anything people are going to care a whole lot about in the long run.
Okay.
So as opposed to 100%ing or any percenting the game fully from start to finish. Okay, I got you.
So that's kind of my idea of how I just wanted to speed run Bleak Falls Barrow.
Yeah.
In Skyrim, just that one dungeon, because I can run that dungeon super fucking fast. I've done it 1,000 times or so. Okay, yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome though.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. It's really cool.
Yeah. Also, that's a dope shirt. Just saying, Gremlins. Shout out.
Oh yeah.
There were some updates to the fantasy league.
Nice.
I do want to point out Jeremy was talking some shit earlier about he was ahead in points and stuff, and as far as I'm looking, sir, I'm still way the fuck ahead of you. So I don't know where you were talking about. You got second place held firm.
Maybe homie should have bought Elden Ring.
Should have went first on the draft. No.
Get it together, Jezza. Or is it the other Jeremy?
No, it's Jezza.
Okay.
No, yeah. No, the other Jeremy has not drafted anything since the draft. So, but speaking of Jezza, he got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and added it. I don't know if it's a remake or a reboot or a re-something. I don't know.
I'll re-something you.
I think I mentioned the last time we were on here that I picked up One Piece Odyssey. Cody picked up a couple games. The Song of Nunu. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the League of Legends story. He already had that. But The Day Before, which I believe is out. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's not going to release this year. Ooh, so he's going to have to drop that. He picked that up and then it said it's not going to come out.
Womp.
Oh, yo, who got Forgotten Land? Who got Kirby and the Forgotten Land on your group?
That was Steph, who's actually the next one I was going to bring up.
I was going to say that had to be worth some juice, right? Because that game seems to be beloved.
I got an 85, so we're 15 points.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
I'm genuinely considering picking that game up as my next Switch game. That seems like a load of fun.
The one that she picked up that I was surprised about was Martha is Dead. That game got a 69.
Nice.
Not nice, so it's minus 1 point, isn't it?
It's negative. That's negative a point. But she picked up, it looks like, since the last time we were on, and I might have said these last time I did this, but I don't remember, so I'm just going to say them again. Anyway, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Shovel Knight Dig, Warhammer 40,000 Darktide, and Soul Hackers 2. And poo on her for Soul Hackers 2 because I wanted that to round out my JRPG choices, but whatever. And then Phil has now filled up his Philly G has filled up his his list. He picked up Cult of the Lamb. And speaking of real quick about Phil's list, since he took Babylon's Fall and that game got a 43 at the moment. That game had one player on Steam the other day.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
And I was like, ouch. So that game's pretty much dead in the water already.
Can he get a refund or something? Because goddamn, that's just brutal.
He brought up today in chat, he goes, well, I'm not stupid enough to buy that game, but I was stupid enough to bid on it in the fantasy league.
Nice.
Which made me laugh. But yeah, that's what's going on. And I think Mike picked up The Quarry, which looks really cool. That's the new game by the people that do Until Dawn and stuff like that. And it's got David Arquette was in the trailer. He's one of the characters in the game. It looks like a really
put some respect on that name. His name is former WCW World Heavyweight Champion David Arquette.
Yeah, and a deathmatch wrestler.
Actually, to be honest, the deathmatch, I think he did a match with Nick Gage or some shit like that. Like, apparently he legitimately acquitted himself and looked fucking awesome in his return to indie wrestling. So, like, good for him. Like, he knows that he was, like, a bit of an embarrassment in wrestling and decided to come back and put his body on the line for no fucking reason whatsoever. And was, like, really cool about it. So, like, big props to David Arquette. Like, I know I'm, like, joking on him being the WCW champion or whatever, but, like, honestly, I have respect for him just to come back and put himself through that.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Kind of just come and prove that he does love wrestling and people can stop just remembering him from that WCW stuff. So, gentlemen, I am curious. So I'll get into why I'm going to ask your guys mostly opinions on this game. We played Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I believe this was all three of our first times dabbling in this.
What was it again? I forgot.
Sorry, what was it?
It was
he forgot. We went down without a lot of light, but I don't remember what it was about.
His name's Daniel. My name is Daniel.
His name is Robert Paulson. Wait, wrong thing.
My name is Danny. I'm carrying the wind.
Bob has bitch tits.
God, we're doing too many things at once.
So many pop culture references. What is this, Tarantino movie?
No, because I haven't got my feet out yet. Hold on, here's my feet. Yeah, what's up, bitch? Here's my feet. Oh, I hated that. Oh,
I was gonna say that was a hell of a stretch you just did to do that.
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked a whole bunch, dude.
So we played Amnesia: The Dark Descent, and I'm curious, like, did you guys have any knowledge of this beforehand?
Yeah. So this game was a little infamous, like, when it came out, because it was a little bit famous for, like, a lot of the yelly Let's Play type guys, your Markipliers and PewDiePie types, like, playing it and overreacting to it and just generally, like, clickbaiting this game as the scariest thing ever made. And so, like, I came into this game with a pretty low impression of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I do know that this game really helped, like, set apart, like, back in the day on YouTube, where, like, this really started to help the Let's Players that weren't just playing Call of Duty and getting really good kill streaks and stuff like that. You know, this kind of opened up the door to, the yelling, screaming, scary video type things that you see these days. What about you, Nate?
Yeah, no, I came in this one totally blind. Like, I somehow avoided that entire section of when it was big on YouTube. Like, I guess because, like, 2010, I wasn't really that into playing or keeping up with the video game scene at that point. So
you were like 4 years old in 2010.
I was you're graduated out of college, my dude.
I'm just bullying my little brother because I think it's funny.
I had always heard about this game being scary, but I didn't ever look into it or read about it because I figured one day I'd eventually play it.
Yeah, that's the cool thing too, is, like, even though I knew that a lot of these, like, YouTuber types did it, I didn't actually watch their videos of it. So, like, I did end up going to it pretty much blind in terms of content.
Yeah. right off the bat, unfortunately, this game uses some really cool camera effects, but they made me super fucking nauseous. So I ended up more so watching somebody else play this game, and then I did a bunch of research about what was actually going on in the background and stuff during the game. So I'm gonna let you guys talk, and I'll kind of ask questions and things about your experiences with as much as you guys played, and then I'll talk about the endings and my opinion on that, and then some cool mechanics that were going on. So
yeah. I'll say right off the bat, I thought that the atmosphere was expertly crafted. Like, I really loved a lot of what they did with it. They made it a darker game in a kind of a castle setting, but it wasn't too dark. It wasn't one of those ones where you had to like keep your face up right up on the screen to see what was going on or anything like that. And I thought it did a really good job of subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, messing with you, because like you would start to lose a little bit of sanity. Your vision would start to blur. You would start to kind of like wobble around and stuff a little bit. And it just made an interesting thing where it was like you had control of your character all the time, but it didn't feel like you had control sometimes. It was just kind of an interesting way of going about it.
Yeah, and I think even in the manual, there's like a statement of purpose in the document where it's like, this isn't a game that's about being beaten. This is a game where you come in and you feel it. I could actually bring up the exact text of it. It's something very similar to that, where it's like, this isn't a game that you're supposed to come in here and beat. It's a game you're supposed to, it makes you uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you feel disoriented and all that. And I think it did a good job of doing that, honestly.
Yeah, and I like how it tells the backstory, because obviously the game's called Amnesia, so you're getting all the story through like notes and flashbacks and things that you're trying to remember as you're playing, which I thought was something that it did really cool, because you do end up finding out later why your character has amnesia, which I'll get to that. But
I mean, I feel like also too, like it could have been cornier than it was, like walking around through this old stone temple and all that. It should have been a corny and lame experience, but the fact is, they felt like they had a cool story to tell. I sneezed in the middle of that sentence. Sorry about that. But like, seriously, you get in there and it's just like, it felt interesting. It felt like there was something cool to tell us about. It wasn't just like, hey, here's a castle where some spooky shit happens. Fuck you. Like, there was actually like, I felt like some story there. And I had a lot of fun with that already. Like, even from the start.
Oh yeah. Well, before we get too far into it, I do have O-dubs.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to get
let
you guys opening
get
opinion.
That.
So, Amnesia: The Dark Descent is a survival horror adventure game by Frictional Games, who you may know.
Frictional Games. What else have Frictional Games done?
Frictional Games did Penumbra, the Penumbra series.
Okay.
Then they did Amnesia.
So
then
they're largely a horror group.
Yeah, I think exclusively they do horror. So this was released in 2010 for Microsoft Windows and Mac OS systems and Linux, and in 2016 for the PlayStation 4 and 2018 for the Xbox One. The game features a protagonist named Daniel exploring a dark and foreboding castle called Brennenburg, while trying to maintain his sanity by avoiding monsters and unsettling events. And the game was critically well received, earning 2 awards from the Independent Games Festival and numerous positive reviews. This game was originally released on Humble Bundle.
Like, that was where it was originally released?
Yeah. It was put out on PCs and stuff, and it got put out on the Humble Bundle, either in their monthly thing that they did or something, and that's what first drew all the attention to this game.
That's wild.
That and a review by, I don't remember if it was PC Gamer or like IGN or something. They gave it like a reviewer's recommendation for people to check out, and that really boosted this game, because this game was a make or break for Frictional Games. Like, if this game didn't do well, they were going to tank.
It was their Final Fantasy.
It was their Final Fantasy. And yeah, it ended up working out.
Wow.
Because of those.
That's amazing.
And then of course it exploded on YouTube, and then from there, they've been fine ever since. But yeah. There is a sequel, so there's a spin-off-esque sequel called
Amnesia, Machine for Pigs?
A Machine for Pigs, yeah. Which is in the same world, but a different alternate timeline type thing with different characters. And then there's another sequel that just came out recently called Amnesia Rebirth.
Okay, did not know about.
And then they're also famous for a game called Soma, which is one that I really look forward to us playing one day. But yeah, I mean, everything else on the Wikipedia is just like gameplay and plot and stuff, and we'll get into that. But what was the first moment in the game that made you guys go, "Oh shit"? Because I can very vividly remember, like even as far as I remember this one particular moment that it made me jump a little bit.
Honestly, the first time that I felt like I was really starting to get like deep into it and a little bit scared was when we were down in the wine cellar, I think, trying to get the ingredients for the potion, and there was just a lot more dark area down there than the rest of the game that you'd played so far. So like you would start losing sanity a lot faster and more things would happen a lot quicker. So I can remember getting scared that something was going to come out of the dark and grab me, because like I was like, I got to be careful with these tinder boxes, which mechanically are what you use to keep light going on and candles and things. And so I can't use all these, but I'm really scared and I want to use all these.
Yeah, no, dude, absolutely. Like from the beginning, the moment it told me you only get so many oil lamps, you get so many tinder boxes, I was like, oh shit, I just can't use them anymore. I've got to fucking manage this shit for the rest of my game. Like, it put a tension in me from the get-go that like just I didn't really know what to do with, but like from the start I was like, oh my god, I cannot fucking light these lamps, I cannot fucking do anything, I'm just like fucking intimidated, I'm scared.
That was one of the issues that I had, where it was like, oh fuck, well, how do I know which ones I should light and which ones I don't? And really you don't, that's just something you have to decide as a player.
Yeah, and ages of RPGs taught us to never use anything in our inventory ever.
Mega Elixir with 10 of them left, gang. What's up?
Yeah, dude. And did you guys play this game with headphones on?
Yes.
I did, yes. I played the game with the headphones in and the lights off. I literally went all in. Like, when I was playing this game, I'm like, no, fucking spook me. And, like, the ambient sounds of this are great, because, like, there's always the little sounds beneath you, the little, like, the hissing cockroaches that you get very early on. And then, like, throughout the entire game, there's still all these weird little sounds that you don't even know where they're coming from. And, like, even after you've basically understood and cleared out an area, there's still weird-ass sounds you still hear the whole time.
Yeah, I definitely think that the sound design carries this game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like, it is masterfully done. It definitely invokes the, I guess, anxiety in you. You know what I mean? When you're creeping around and there's just that little bit of ambience in the background that just makes you uneasy.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it really wants to trigger your flight response, like, because you want to run away from everything that's happening, because, like, this game does not really have much of a fighting back mechanic to it, so it's like...
As far as I know, it has no fighting back mechanic. I think your only ability is just to either retreat or advance past where it goes.
And that is one of my qualms with this game, is that this game was so popular that it made a bunch of other horror games do that. So now we have a lot of games where it's like you can't fight back against the monsters, and it's like, man, I want to at least be able to punch it as it's killing me. Like, try to fight back at least a little bit.
Yeah, but I really think it worked to the benefit of this game, because like...
Yeah. If you had guns and stuff, well, this game, you would fire off all your ammo before you ever ran
you would
into
have
a
like
monster.
4 shots, and then you just shoot them all off, and you'd be like, well, what the fuck am I going to do now?
Yeah, you get spooked by a shadow, let off half a clip. Oh, man. Did you guys, were there any puzzles that stood out to you?
So there's one puzzle that was really early in the game that I loved. I loved making the potion, because like you had to go down to the basement and find like all these different ingredients for the potion, which you learned about how to make by reading the old I don't remember what his title was in the game, like The Alchemist or whatever, his journal. And you had to go find the ingredients for it and bring it back up to there to be able to make it.
Yeah, I felt like it did a really good job of like bringing that into the lore and all that. Like, it was Daniel's, like, his leader, his boy,
Alexander.
Alexander, yeah. And he gave you little bits of hints and little tidbits through all of that, and it was good. It did a great job of making me want to know, one, why I am following this guy, and two, why I want to kill him. Because that's the main plot of the game. The ultimate point is you are going to kill Alexander, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But why?
Yep.
But why?
And,
why am I doing that? We find out. It's fucking cool. It's a cool story. It's really fun.
Yeah, and it ends up being like that there was a shadow following you, and you end up taking solace.
Yeah, we should probably bring this up too. The game tells a lot of the story through journals, and at one point you were in an archaeological dig in I think in West Africa, and like you were just fucking digging down there. You got this cool fucking relic. Your guy touched it. And then all of a sudden, kasplooey, it blew his shit up. He's fucked up from it forever and all that. Yeah. But apparently, the moment he touched it, like, there's this thing following called the Shadow, which is like deleting reality as it comes. That's like so fucking
it's a
cool.
It's a wild fucking concept, right? It's almost like the Tommy Knockers, but more believable.
Yeah, little Tommy Knockers, little Langoliers, that kind of shit. Yeah,
that's what I meant. Langoliers, goddamn, not Tommy Knockers, Langoliers. Yeah, but yeah. So you meet Alexander, and he basically tells you like, "Oh, I know all about that. You know, we just have to keep the evil away from you." So you start like hanging out with him, and he starts teaching you and stuff. Well, it ends up being that Daniel kind of gets to this point where he thinks that this thing is following evil, so he starts killing people who are evil around him. And it really starts developing a question of what makes someone evil, because him killing all of these people made him just as evil as he assumed that they were. And that's why it ends up being towards, like, you know, that it explains that he drinks the amnesia potion. So he forgets all the evil. So he wouldn't be scared of Alexander. He wouldn't remember how powerful Alexander is. So you can go and kill him. And I was like, that's such a cool fucking idea.
Yeah. And I just want to go ahead and point back to the journal entries themselves, too. Like, there were some really cool ones. Like, remember when you go down into the wine cellar and you start reading things down there?
Yes.
And you get the whole story about, like, how he has all these soldiers down there, invites them to this giant wine drinking party and has them drink the wine. And it's all just poison to begin with at the end, which just like, except for like the graphic detail of what the poison did to the people, really made that story a lot more compelling. Like, oh yeah, we invited a bunch of dudes down here and poisoned them. You know, like the details put into the journal entries, I thought really helps tie everything in together of how dark this story was supposed to be and how much thought they really put into it.
Yeah. And when his memories are messing with him, there's a point where there's like a tank with a bunch of water that you have to fill it up, but there's somebody talking to you from the other side of the tank. You hear a voice coming from it, and then you fill it up with water, and you go click it again, and it says the voice has fallen silent. And it's because they drowned in that fucking tank. You know what I mean? There's another room where I think it's the one where you have to put the cog puzzle, go and find them, and then put them together. But then you have to rotate this handle, and there are shackles hanging from the ceiling and the shackles on the floor, and there's a stool there. And as it starts pulling up, you're hearing a woman crying and screaming and stuff, and hearing like bones crunch. And then the stool kicks over as the things keep going, and you just keep turning this thing. And it's like it's making you mentally picture what was happening originally when they were ripping someone in half with torture devices and stuff. And there's fucking journals about how to keep the patient alive longer so they suffer more and things like that. It's brutal. Yeah. Fucking brutal.
It's so full of good, brutal stuff like that that makes you realize that, yeah, you are in this mansion that is pure evil. Well, at least the people who lived inside of it. And, like, the backstory of, like, the immortal Alexander was the whole concept behind that character, too.
Yeah, right. He's like the end-all, be-all evil guy. And I guess they created the monsters that you see throughout, like, the flesh monster things that come running at you and stuff. I didn't find them nearly as scary as that monster that was the water monster, because you couldn't see it. All you could see was its footsteps in the water.
Even
that was
if you
cool
looked straight at it, you would only see the footsteps. That was so. So I think, Nate, you tapped out a moment before you would have got to it. But holy shit, there was a scene in this game where you were like running through this like almost sewer, and like there was a monster was following you, like splash, 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 like footsteps. It was crazy.
Yeah, it could sense you when you were in the water. So you had to run and jump on something outside the water, and this thing would run up, and you could hear it breathing and stuff, but you can't see it.
But you could see the footprints. And moreover, occasionally you would see like a little bit of fucking meat, just some dead fucking body that washed up on your shore, and you could be like throwing that out at there, and then that would distract it for a second.
Yeah, distracting it with body parts and stuff to get away from it.
So fucking nasty, so fucking sick.
It was really intense. But this game does show its age a little bit in its monster models. I will say. They are not that terrifying looking. I don't even know if they were that scary for the time. I think that's why like a main part of this game is like, don't look at them because that'll drive you crazy.
Don't look at them because they're very well designed. No.
What the game is lacking in the visuals as far as the monsters and stuff, they definitely make up for with the atmosphere and you know the mechanics going on in the background and stuff like that. Speaking of tapping out, so when I first loaded this game up, I was like, something looked off, so I was like, oh, maybe I need to like log out and check my NVIDIA settings and see, or maybe just go back to the options menu and stuff. So I had loaded into the game, walked around a little bit, closed out of it. I got an achievement called Nope. Which is just an achievement for quitting when the going is getting good. And I was like, that's hilarious, dude. That lets everyone know on your friends list who looks to see if you've played that game. Like, oh no, yeah, they immediately just nope, I'm done.
I'll go ahead and say this too. I think that especially really early on, like it really stuffs you hard with the fucking special effects and shit. It's like constantly like your character's like coughing and sputtering and looking down and looking up and shit. You'd have very little control over what the fuck he's doing. Like Daniel is not in your control at all early in the game.
Yeah, and that's what made me really nauseous was the camera doing all that weird stuff where it was like rotate and then you'd kind of like stumble and the hallway would get a little longer and then come back in. I've been this drunk before. I don't like it. I don't like it. So let's talk about some of the endings. So neither of you saw the endings, right?
No, I think both of us got less than halfway into the game, honestly.
Okay, well, spoilers for everyone. I believe that this game is better experienced exactly the way that you guys did, as somebody who watched Markiplier play through the whole thing, right?
We should have watched Markiplier play it. Is that what you're telling us?
No. I'm saying like I just didn't think the endings were that satisfying, and I'm about to read them to you. They're not very long in these paragraphs, but
okay.
But yeah, so there's 3 endings. Okay, there's 1, Daniel's ending, the revenge ending. For this ending, Daniel must topple all of the pillars in order to ruin Alexander's ritual. So in the final room, there are 4 pillars. They're shooting bolts of light towards this orb in the middle, right? And it's Alexander doing his fucking thing up there. So you topple those to ruin the ritual. The ground begins to shake and the shadow creeps under Alexander, who screams in pain, curls into the fetal position, and dissolves into a blue mist, seemingly killed by the shadow, but never touched by it. The shadow, however, does not touch Daniel, and after the screen fades to black, a short cutscene will play of Daniel seemingly just leaving the castle. Over the sound of shifting stones as the shadows growth, Daniel will say, it was my greatest triumph and I never looked back. You think I was afraid of fleeing Brennenburg? Quite the contrary. I knew it was my purgatory, hellfire made to wash away my sins. There is no denying things I've done, but I've paid my tribute. I gave them that awful man. I did the right thing. End of game. Right?
That sounds like the good ending.
That's not the good ending. Oh. That's the revenge ending. I agree. I think that would have been the good ending, right? To me. So Alexander's ending is the bad ending. Do nothing in the orb chamber and let Alexander just do his thing. And he disappears through the portal. Yeah, he disappears through the portal. Daniel will hear the prisoners and the little girl that he killed begging for mercy while the shadow invades the room and seems to rip him to pieces within a minute.
Nice.
After the screen blackens and the shadow's roar fades, Alexander's voice will be heard saying, "Thank you, my friend. Your sacrifice won't be forgotten. You will be celebrated forever."
Forever.
Fun fact, this ending can also be triggered while in the cells. After being locked inside the cells, if you do nothing to escape, it'll draw the shadow who will kill you in the same way. And then the good ending, which is the Agrippa ending, which is you eventually come upon Agrippa, who is like the opposite of Alexander, and he's all tied up in like a dead body looking thing.
So they're using all these names from like fucking Greek mythology, Agrippa and Alexander. That's I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, it's the two philosophers. Yes, but so Agrippa gets his head torn off, so you have to go and pick his head up, and you got to put his head into the portal right before the preparation's complete. So instead of Alexander going through, you throw Agrippa's head through, and Alexander yells out, "No, you fool! You have ruined us!" And the shadow consumes Alexander and Daniel, who both scream in pain. Now, I'll remind you, this is the good ending. They both scream in pain before Alexander dissolves into blue and Daniel collapses to the ground. Screen blackens. Then a floating blue light appears. And while Daniel walks towards the light, Agrippa says, "There he is. Do you see him, Wire? He deserves so much more. Please help him. I know you can. Don't worry, Daniel. It will be all right." Screen fades to white, then black, then credits. End of game.
Aww. That makes me sad. That felt sad. That was very melancholy. Fuck. I'm like over here like hearing this for the first time. I'm feeling fucking melancholy about it.
So there is a rare file in the game's files called super_secret.rare. And you have to get all three endings. And in each ending screen, there's a little code at the bottom of the ending screen. And you have to figure out which order to put the three little codes in. And that's the password to open up the rare file in the files.
No, this is too much like a different game we've played before.
And once you open it up, it's cool, man. There's art design stuff from the development. There is information about the engine, some designs and stuff, and pretty much like there's a whole thing about like the outline, like their whole, when they first wrote out chapter 1, they have a whole document about the design and how they were going to do it and stuff. I found it all really interesting.
Yeah, that sounds really cool, actually.
Just behind the scenes, it's kind of like just some stuff that you earned it by playing through the game and seeing everything in it, figuring out like the quote unquote last puzzle of the game.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I was going to bring up. Oh, that's right. Okay, so now that we've talked about all of that, would you like to know something interesting about the sanity mechanic?
Absolutely, I would.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Much like the cake.
Oh no, there's no sanity mechanic in this actual game?
The sanity mechanic is a lie.
What?
Literally doesn't.
So the sanity mechanic is literally a number, and wherever it is at, they will put in sanity reactions to your character and stuff, right? But it's all scripted. Literally, there is not one moment in this game where you walk in and might be a chance that a monster is going to jump out and get you. All of that is in your head.
Wow.
This game plants things in your head in the beginning to make you scare yourself throughout the entire fucking thing.
That's so good, dude, because it works.
Yeah, now that I've told you guys that, I'll send you the video after we're done recording, and I'll post it in the Discord. Ars Techana, I think that's what it's called. Ars Techana. It doesn't matter. There's a YouTube channel. It's a little interview with the developer. It's like 14 minutes long, and he explains how they got that to work and what they wanted to do and how that didn't work, so they faked it, and it just worked really good.
I am like literally losing my goddamn mind right now. Like, that is how good they did this shit. I didn't even notice it because I was just so busy being like stuck in these little tunnels and these little sewers and all that shit. Like, dude, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was just an incredible little detail that they just used the game's atmosphere against you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's honestly beautiful.
Yeah. If I was going to give this, like, even though I didn't play it, dude, I think if I was going to give this a rating, I'd probably give this like a solid 7.5 because in retrospect, it's quite generic. Like, retroactively, because games have taken this model and moved forward with it since then. Before its time, this game's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They did everything perfect, in my opinion. So, like, 7.5, 8, somewhere around in there, I'm going to give it straight up out of fleshy monsters.
Yeah, to me, I think that the only thing, in my opinion, that really it just needs a little bit of updating to be a much better game. Like, it came out 12 years ago, I guess, and it shows. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just an older game now. And, like, I feel like mechanically, there's things you could do to make it play a little bit more comfortably, make the inventory system a little bit easier to navigate from a modern player perspective. And there are just things that they could do like that to make it a slightly better experience overall. But as it stands, I think it accomplished what it set out to do, and so many games that came after it took inspiration off of it. So for me, I give it an 8 out of 10 sanities that don't exist.
Oh yeah.
I think I have to give myself just straight up 82 points out of 100 Cthulhu Mythos. Because at this point, I am losing my fucking sanity. I am losing my mind, and this game has got into my head. Like, this was a good game. This game did this shit way ahead of its time. A lot of the great games, the fun games we played, just used a lot of these techniques. And shit, like, this game did it great. It did it fantastic.
And I will say that out of all the horror games that we've played that are like commercial horror games, I'm not going to count Phasmophobia in that. But this is the best one we've played, the best horror game we've played for the show.
Absolutely. 100%. Without a doubt.
Well, okay. I can't agree with that because I played Resident Evil 7 before y'all joined, and that game's really good. But as far as with you guys, I 100% agree. Much better than the other ones we played. And this really makes me want to check out the other Amnesia titles. Mm-hmm. Like, I know Machine for Pigs was developed by a different developer but published by the same people, so it's a little different. People have their issues with that one, I've read. But
wasn't there one we just got that was on free on Epic or something like that?
Amnesia Rebirth.
Okay.
That's the new one. Yeah. And then I think I have Machine for Pigs somewhere too, on one of these fucking launchers.
No, I have no problem playing more of these because this was a very good game, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in maybe diving into Rebirth somewhere closer to October.
Hell yeah.
Or something, yeah.
Fuck yes, dude.
And that leaves us with Nate. I believe the next game is your choice, my good sir.
Oh, snap.
What we got?
All right, so I've been thinking about this a lot, and for a lot of my game picks that I'm going to be picking, it's going to be classics that I kind of missed out on at the time when they were really big. So the one game that's really been jumping out to me lately that I want to dive into is Half-Life.
Yes! Half-Life. Oh shit, Mr. Freeman, you are welcome to the test chamber.
Yeah, that's going to be cool, dude. That's one that I've always wanted to play and haven't gotten around to. But for the historical aspect of it, yeah, that's going to be rad, bro.
Yeah, so now we all got an excuse to play it. And not to mention, selfishly, since I got a new VR setup, I really want to be able to feel like I can go into Half-Life Alyx at some point with a little bit of knowledge about the series in general. So I'm ready to play some Half-Life.
Fucking righteous, bro.
Dude,
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, this is the best possible choice you could have made.
And then just for a foreshadow, I think my next choice, I'm going to bug one Paul Korn to join us.
I have a feeling I know what that's going to be then.
Yeah, so do I.
We'll talk about that next episode.
Yeah, we got it. Just planting the seed. We can't spoil it now.
Yeah. So I guess that leads into some house cleaning. If you'd like to come join our Discord and be one of the cool people that hang out with us in there, and you can vote on the games, much like Amnesia. Amnesia was the fan game poll winner, and the next game is going to be Final Fantasy VII that won that poll. And then there's another poll up right now, so come join and vote. It's actually becoming a closer vote than I thought between American Truck Simulator and Shadows of Mordor.
Oh snap! Come vote on our poll, y'all.
Come vote. We love people on our poll, so please come join. And plus, we just like talking video games and stuff. It's a great time in there. bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. Also, if you would like to support the show, which would mean the world to us, is patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. Just $1 a month will get you all the episodes early. And also, it'll get you things like music episodes that I do. This past weekend, I released a music episode for the Patreon that I put a lot of time into.
He literally did a ton of research and found 5 hours worth of people that he enjoyed. Music, metal music with female vocalists, I believe, was the theme.
Yeah, it was a showcased on female metal vocalists, and it ended up being about 4 hours and 45 minutes long. I didn't expect it to be that long. But I set it up to try to play like the radio, where I pop in and give you a little info about the artist and who's singing, like the female and stuff, and then I just let the music talk for itself.
Casey Kasem up in this bitch.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Casey Kasem.
Zoinks!
But yeah,
do you know who Casey Kasem is, or were you just like fucking talking there?
No. I know. I used to listen to 95. Well, down here it was 95.1 WAPE, and they would play the top whatever the fuck it was.
Fair enough. You got.
Yeah. Anyways, come join the Patreon, patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast, or you can donate and get a shout out. I believe that is $10 or more. Like these wonderful people: Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of Juniper, Jeff, the original expendable Mr. Syllables himself, old Jeffy Lube, and Arisa Adam. Shout out to his podcast, Revival and Extinction, which I need to edit the next episode of. I checked our email, and Google was making sure that we were still okay, and that was about it. Let's see what else. The website, Jesus Christ, bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast, capitalized phonetically, has links to all of the shit that we're pitching to you right now, including tsmpproductions.threadless.com, where you can get a cool ass shirt of our thing on it. And to wrap up my bullshit so I can pass this over to Nate,
go to the Bandcamp for Nile the Nightmare at nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com to hear Dalton's smooth jams and wonderful music.
I highly recommend the record. Shit, what the fuck was that good? The Biggest Asshole in Keystone. That was a good one.
I am the biggest asshole in Keystone, so I'm told. And also shout out to Yabs Pod, yet another BS podcast. Shout out to the JRPG Report, my other podcast that I do. And if you would leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast, especially iTunes, that would be fucking wonderful. Nate, plug your shit, sir.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok at Turtle Bear Man. Been kind of concentrating on my speed running stuff on my streams again, so trying to de-rust my Predator speed runs so I can kind of get a little bit better at that again. So more to come. I've been having fun with it, but not taking it as seriously as I once did. But it's still a good time.
Hell yeah. Willie, you got anything you want to plug, good sir?
Oh, I don't give an iota of a fuck right now. I'm just happy to be here.
Alrighty. Well, then I will give a shout out to Matt Chat. Go watch his interview he did with Bruce Nesmith from Bethesda. It was really cool.
Oh shit, that's a good recommendation. Fuck yeah, Matt Chat, what's up?
And on that note, for the Destructo Bros, my name is Dalton, and until next time, guys, take it easy.